a roll call. Vandenbrink.
Here.
Schatzinger.
Here.
Page.
Here.
Gatsky.
Here.
Krieger.
Here.
Iverson.
Here.
And Sorensen here. Okay, next agenda item is to approve the agenda, and I would entertain a motion to do so with the caveat that we remove H under new business up to under the chief's report, a department staffing and morale update.
I'm sorry, what are we removing?
Removing H,
Not removing, we're gonna move it up.
removing it up to under A in the chief's report.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Jonathan. You have an old, you might not have the amended agenda.
Oh,
And I got another one.
okay.
We had to quick
Thank you.
add that, so we had to amend the agenda.
I just need to get it. I'll give it a rest.
Oh, I'm good, I've got 3 more copies.
Okay, I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We do have a member of the public here, but I do not believe she wants to speak. Nope. Okay. Secretary's report for June. Heather did this in lieu of Doug, so thank you, but I believe Doug found change to
Yeah,
the minutes.
the only thing that popped up at me is everything was approved 7-0. There
Not
wasn't.
everything, there was something.
Oh, okay, well,
But there were only 6.
there were only 6 of
Yeah, I
us
know.
here,
I
so
think I
I wasn't
counted.
present.
I think I counted Chief Howard.
Okay. So the motion would be to move the minutes as amended or corrected to show that motions reflect a 6-person vote.
I move we approve the secretary's report as amended with a 6-person vote instead of 7.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Sure.
Thank you, Gary. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, now we'll go on to the treasurer's report. You have the treasurer's report in there, but one report was omitted when they sent out. One of the things we're going to do when we bring accounting back into the office is we will begin to send out the agenda packets from here, from this office, to the list that is currently being used, because we have a better sense of what needs to be sent out. So nothing would be hopefully omitted in the future. So I tend to only really look at the operations fund, which tells us where we're at the budget. And I know you guys are better at understanding what individual purchases go on. I'm not very good about that. But I did want to note a couple of things. That for the part-time salaries, through 6 months of the year, we're at 40%, which is great. Heather's doing a very good job of scheduling people for the daytime shift. So the 50,000 that fund balance that we applied to this year was typically for part-time staff. So we're really in a good position for that. Where we're really over is professional services. That would be McMahon and Associates. And I believe our legal services are over budget too. And then I think we're pretty good everywhere. Well, repair and maintenance, we're at 100% right now, but we had a lot of deferred maintenance this
Yeah.
So you guys might have questions about more specific things, but I just wanted to point those things out to you.
Not a budget specific question, but can I ask about what you had said when you introduced this, that the email, so instead of getting, so I get an email from Karen in the City of Ripon office. So you're saying instead of Karen sending it out, it's going to come from
Heather, once we switch over to doing our accounting internally, and I'm trying to The city side is set up, but it may, if we just have to download everything into a spreadsheet and then upload it into the new software, there would be no charge there. CLA is supposed to be, it's very hard to find somebody to do this, to upload it all and have everything, all the accountings, the general ledger and everything put into QuickBooks. So I'm waiting to meet with them to talk about the cost of that. And then once that's done, we'll be creating all of the reports in-house, and Heather will have 2 people who can do it, and Heather will send out all the agendas so that we won't be missing. I found out over the last several years we've been missing some monthly reports that we've never seen, and it's because Barb runs a report for every month, but when we met on October 31st, that month wasn't closed out. So she did run an October report, which we've never seen, because Karen did not include it in, she just includes the month that she believed was appropriate. So we have to eliminate that stuff.
Okay, thanks.
Does that help? I know a lot more about this than I care to.
And just to clarify, obviously, if she emails other, I can imagine, I don't know who Karen all emails, I don't see the list.
Right, but
You
it's
would
the
email.
media, town of Nepiescum, and town of Ripon for posting too. So we have to get that list from her, and not Gary. Not Gary.
And I mail.
I have to drive it over.
So did anybody have questions about specific?
What is that? I had one, just from my own knowledge. What was the really big charge? It was like a pusher, spreader.
Oh, that was, we got the money from the Firehouse Subs grants, they ACH'd it into our checking account, so we had to pay, when we got the tools, then we had to pay for the tools.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yep, yep.
And we'll continue to write those grants.
Here we have some Amazon charges. Did we get our tax exempt account
Yes.
through Amazon?
Yep.
And we also remember have a charge account through Ripon Bank now with only a $10,000 limit. But I also have the ability, Doug should have the ability to go in and double check that account so that not one person has access to it.
I'm just curious for John, what did you do with Ed Reinert's? Can you explain some of that?
I can't, I don't even have the list in front of me.
Oh, Heather can do it. Sorry, Heather.
No, you're fine. Renner, those were the ones, these were the fixes after they did the DOT inspection. And then we brought the estimates in here and had you guys approve them. This was them finally fixing them. So we've got, I think it's engine 11, no, not 11. 16, 10 or 12, 10 or 13, 18 was all fixed and they're all
So we should be good again on that.
on those.
Well,
On those.
those,
Yes.
not on other engines.
No, not on other engines.
Well, what else we got?
They're in
They're
the
11 and
agenda.
14.
It's on the
Yeah, we'll get down to
agenda.
those later.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were the estimates that we voted on last month or the month before that we said, yes, go ahead and fix them. They finally got them in and got them fixed.
Yeah, I think the two you're referring to here, Gary, one was truck 17, the tire rods were replaced on, I think.
Yep.
And the other one was engine 14, we had to have a new primer, pump primer put on it. So those were the two here.
The two bigger ones.
When I had asked about Amazon, Ellen, you had brought up this other charge. Where does that come into play on here? Where was it used? This other charge?
I don't think it was used. Was it? It's a Ripon Bank.
Yeah, it doesn't come up as Huracan. Let me see if I can.
Great.
Yeah, the Huracan Bank Visa, it's right underneath Home and Chevy. And it tells you everything that I bought.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, I
That's
see what
what
it
you
is.
bought through Amazon.
That's what I
is
bought through
you're saying
Amazon, yes.
With that charge. That's why you brought it up there.
Yeah, she doesn't, we don't use it a lot,
No.
but it's for office supplies. And when we bring all the accounting back in, also we'll start paying things, it's 20 cents to pay something electronically instead of the office time to cut a check, the cost of printing the checks, the cost of envelopes, the cost of the stamps. So we'll begin saving money on that also. So you'll still see it paid in the check register, it just will not have been done on paper. Are there any more questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the accounts payable and treasurer's report.
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Gabriel, you are on fire tonight.
Trying to help you out.
No, I thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Jonathan's there with you. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okey dokey. Heather, you are next with the grant.
The grant. I tried to apply for a DNR grant. They needed, in order for me to get the grant, I had to sign up for what was called a SAMS number. So I
Yep.
go on SAMS.com, but they wanted proof of when we got our EIN number, and I couldn't find it anywhere, and Barb was on vacation. And so I tried the IRS, and they were like all ready to hand it to me, and then they said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Heather." And they said, "You're not an authorized user." So I explained their situation, that she, was no longer here, and that we, and he says, "Well, if you can get that person to call me." So they wouldn't tell me who the authorized person is. So I don't know who the authorized person is, but without that, I couldn't get a SAMS number, so then I couldn't apply for the grant.
We'll have to have Jim Macy write a letter.
So.
An EIN number, you can.
But
we don't know when we got
We
it.
have an
You got
EIN
it.
number, I need to know when we were issued it. They wanted proof of when it was issued. And it wasn't just give me proof, it was like, I need a document. And I'm like,
We don't have our document for the EIN number.
I'm thinking Barb might have it, in with all the financial stuff. I don't know.
I wonder if CLA would have a copy of it.
But that's,
So
When
you
does the
could-
grant due?
July 1st.
Oh. Well, is there a mechanism that we don't have to wait until a board meeting to talk about
No,
this?
no, there's not.
Because now we just missed
Yeah.
the date.
Well, she couldn't do it anyway, she doesn't have the EIN stuff.
That's my point.
But no, we're not, every grant, all money we get, we will
Because
have a motion to apply for and accept. It's an accounting issue. It is also an issue of balance of checks and balances.
I get that.
Yeah.
But we
But-
just
and then
missed an
this-
opportunity.
Well,
that-
this one also is a 50/50 grant, so it would have, you guys would have had to come up with 50% of the cost. They're gonna split it 50/50, so.
We are open and we're transparent. We can't take an online vote because we have to post all of our meetings. So we would have had to call a special meeting. And if that is the will of the board to call a special meeting when a grant is discovered, we can do that. But we couldn't do this one. Typically, the timing is going to be better.
Well,
Once we know what's out, yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of times you come up with these grants, vacation 2 days after it's due, or it's supposed to be. We get that stuff all the time.
Yep.
Big grant coming, well, you had to apply on Thursday and it's already next Sunday.
I guess for me, thank you first of all, for even looking into this, because it would have been easy not to say anything, right? And then we wouldn't have known. But for me, I see it as a little bit more administrative, trying to find information versus, obviously, if we're going to move forward with it, that's about transparency. And that's what needs to come to the board. I guess I would say that trying to find a document that we should have anyways is something that if someone needs help, hopefully we can do what we need to do to get the help and not wait till I'm not sure that that is something that the board needs to decide about trying to,
I think she's letting you know that is why she wasn't able to apply for it.
Yeah, that's, I mean, otherwise, I still would have sent it in, because if you guys would have voted no, we would have just turned it down.
Yeah.
If we got the money.
We decided to go ahead and apply and then bring it to the board. Had the board said no, we would have stopped, we would have withdrawn it
Yeah.
because of the time schedule being so tight.
yeah. But I guess, but so going forward, do you have what you need? I don't know, do we need
Not
like a
yet,
vote?
I'm still working on it.
That's my point.
No, you don't need, this isn't an action item, it's an administrative issue.
That was my point.
Yes.
So don't wait until a board meeting to ask for help.
Well, we didn't know
No.
we didn't have the.
We didn't know
No,
we
I didn't know,
have it.
I didn't know I was gonna need it.
This is the first time I've heard she could, I knew she was having, we talked about the year of it, but I didn't know we didn't have the documentation.
And I-
Because I have mine at home for my business.
Yeah.
I mean, and I went through everything. You're trying to find it.
Well, you know what, it might even be at City Hall, because Barb took care of the finances
I
up
was wondering
there.
if it went with, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I don't, we'll find
But
out. We'll
when she
figure
comes
it
back
out.
from vacation, I'll ask her if she's got it and then get a copy so I have one in my records going forward.
Well, she could just bring it into the office too, if she doesn't need it. Well, bummer. Did you want to talk about the next item?
We received a grant from Marilyn Callan for $500. I talked to her on the phone about it, and she asked what other people had donated money for, and I said that somebody had somebody else, donate money to for the Convi tool, the extrication tool that we were looking at and stuff, and she goes, well, I think that's a well worth item to put money towards. I'm gonna send you some money, and so we got the $500 donation
What
from
was the
her.
lady's name again?
Marilyn Callan.
How do you spell it?
CALLAN.
CALLAN. Okay.
So, because it's money, we need a motion to accept with gratitude the donation.
And I have sent her a thank you note for it.
Thank you. And anybody want to accept that
I move
500?
to accept the $500 donation with gratitude from Marilyn Callan in the amount of $500 for the Combi tool.
Thank you. You want a second?
Sure.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Are we open for more? How close are we to the
Oh.
end amount of the tool?
The tool is $10,000.
And where are we at as far as?
We're at $550.
Well, it'll be in the report.
Yeah, it's in the back, the very last page, but I believe we're at $550.08.
So,
Right.
So,
okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Now we move on to the chief's report.
Okay, we'll start out with the department staffing and morale update. Really no change there. The department's staffing is kind of fluctuating. So with that being said, that line item we moved down up in the new business up to the chief's report. We have one that came off of leave of absence. I believe he was on for 90 days leave of absence. He is coming back on the 10th now. We do have another one that, we actually have two more out on leave of absence. One has not responded back yet, and I don't think his date is due.
right to the end of July.
And then we just had one yesterday. He wants to take a leave of absence for 30 days, possibly more. He's not sure yet. He's looking at going back to school in the fall here to better his career. So for now, we're still holding steady. So department staffing is holding steady. Morale is still there yet. It's holding steady as well.
And you had a good training session a couple weeks ago?
We did have a good training session, yes. We did do some MAVIS joint training with Alto. Alto had all of the neighboring departments down there for water movement, and we did some,
Search and rescue.
well, it wasn't search and rescue, but we did TAG and passport stuff.
Yeah, accountability.
Accountability is, we're slacking on some of that stuff, so we did some accountability stuff down there. A lot of good stuff out of it. I went down as well. I left the other chiefs here to do the training here that night as well, and
And
What I
that
heard.
training went well.
That training went well as,
Yep.
yes, as well.
Yes, it's very well received.
And that helps with morale also.
Yeah, that was great. We had a lot of good compliments on that. Like I said, I wasn't here, so I didn't get to see what happened here, but I heard a lot of good compliments of what went down here. And then we'll get on to some more of that once we get down into the new business stuff on what we went down there for, what happened when we went down there. Certification update. There's
Did
really-
you want to do the new hiring, the firefighter hiring?
Oh, yeah, yes, we are looking at hiring a new firefighter, and I do believe we have to have board permission.
He's a
in order-
part-time.
Yeah, he'd be a part-time guy to bring him on.
A part-time day guy or a, okay. Are we
Yeah.
losing any part-time day guys because of graduation?
No, right now, well, they're kind of all holding steady, but they have informed me that in the fall, 3 of them are going to paramedic school, so that's going to take up some of their time. And then one of them that's going to paramedic school, when he's not at paramedic school, he has to be at his other job, which is the Fond du Lac Fire Department. So he's like, I'm going to be very scattered until I get done with paramedic school, and I'm like, okay. And then we have one guy that, when he graduated, he decided that he wasn't going to go try and find a full-time job right now. He wanted to follow a different career path for a little while, see where it took him. So he's pretty much here for me when we need him, but he also works on a farm. So he's got harvest and stuff coming up. He's got help at the farm a lot in the fall. So he's going to be hit, So I'm kind of like looking forward to fall and trying to make sure we have enough people
So
to
you're,
pull from.
so they're asking for a motion to go ahead and hire this part-time person.
Correct, yep.
Go Doug.
Yeah, I'll put you down as making the motion there, Gary.
I'll make a motion to hire them full-time.
Okay.
Don't we gotta say what his name is in the, or is
Do
it?
you want to know what his
why-
name is?
Do you have his
We
name?
we did do an interview on him.
Yep,
I
we
mean,
did an interview.
what's the point of voting if that's not a name?
His name is Connor Sumke. He technically lives in Appleton. He went to school with most of the guys that are on the day shift. So when he came in, I'm like, here, talk to your friends. Well, I get ready for you. He's very, very outgoing. He's very, very looking forward to working here. He's, according to the guys, he's very, very strong. He's, I'm gonna get this wrong. He's a power lifter. That's what he
Oh.
said. He's a power lifter. So, so I think he'd be a really good fit. I think he'd fit in really well here.
So Gary made a motion that you should go ahead and hire part-time person
Connor
Connor
Sumke.
Sumke. Is anybody going to second that motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jolene. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okey dokey. So you've got a couple new guys, right?
Yep.
No, good.
Yep.
Okay, have at it.
Certification update, nothing new to update on that. In your June calls for service, you have right here on your list. Total calls for the month, 27, daytime calls, 11, rapid response 0, mutual aid 4, year-to-date 22, mutual aid received 2, year-to-date 5. Total calls so far for the year is 159.
I said I would ask during the meeting, and it seems like the appropriate time, being that we're talking about June. Is there anything you want to say, Chief, about it being dry, or have you seen anything people need to be concerned about right now, still being dry, would you say?
It's dry, and yeah, we definitely need the rain to green up that grass. We did have fireworks over the weekend here, and we did have a fireworks fire. We did.
We did?
Yeah, and it-
Monday night.
in the town of Ripon, and it burned
Tuesday
about.
morning.
Yeah, Tuesday morning, it came in around midnight. There were some kids out at a property outside of town, and it got away at them. There were bottle rockets or whatever, Roman candles got away at them, and it burnt maybe a quarter of an acre of grass out there. There was nothing in harm's way. There
Probably
was
wouldn't have been anything to burn.
yeah, you know where it
I
is.
wondered though, because it's so dry.
But actually, people are really being responsible, I think. Just the number of fire calls we've had lately and the nuisance calls, everything has been down. So it's actually been pretty good. Especially at 2 o'clock in the morning, the pager don't go off, so hopefully it stays that way. Move on to fire inspection update. I don't know the total number for sure where we're at being done.
No.
I know we're still slacking or behind on some of them.
We still need to get some done. I would say we're probably, I don't know, 80% done. They're,
So about 3/4.
And I wanted to share that I'm getting really good feedback from the business community about how the inspections are being done, how thorough they're being done, and the fact that they're being given the information about what they need to do to mitigate something that's not right. So the feedback's been great about what the day staff is doing.
Yep. Building inspection,
That's me. I've talked with the city about Sue Leahy coming in and inspecting the upstairs to see what needs to be done up there. Because when I'm not a building inspector, so I'm not sure, Barry might even want to look at it too. Oh, okay. All right. Barry doesn't want to, so I'd like to have the building inspector come in and take a look. That's all that is.
I have a question with upstairs, and I haven't been up there for a while, but when they started that, we've got all the fire,
Sprinklers?
stuff up there. And I understand they want some room if they gotta stay open and stuff like that, and tap like private. But as soon as we close those ceilings in, then we gotta move all those have to be moved. I just can't see a point in rebuilding that. I can see the petitions and all that kind of stuff, but you know, if we, assuming if we leave it like it is, it doesn't have ceilings in it now yet, does it?
no.
We don't have to do all that. To replumb all that, it's gotta be, if it costs that much for a water heater,
Yeah, well, the other thing is too, the state has to come in and approve anything that's done there too, and we have to find the paperwork for the state approving what's been done too.
I argued previous to this about that. Somebody made it sound like it wasn't really a big problem, but I can't see how it would be.
I don't know.
Yeah, the sprinkler system would have to be lowered.
Yeah.
So
So
the
it
false
would have
ceiling
to all
would
be
have to be
replumbed and
put in.
go through the walls and in every room and all that.
well, and
Yeah.
doesn't the heat and the air, well, the heat there's no air conditioning upstairs.
No.
So the heat, then we'd have to add air.
Air conditioning up there and all the ductwork would have to be above the ceiling. So, yeah.
I'm saying it's now, you know, if it's all open and you've got cubicles with no, I mean, the ceiling's up there, but it's probably this far from the ceiling
Yeah.
to
Yeah, but
the partition walls. You could still run ducts over there for air conditioning or whatever you needed, without having to cutting in walls and mounting it to the ceilings and, I don't know, I mean, it's just something to look at and I don't know if it'll ever get finished or, I mean, you know, guy all has hopes, but something to think about at the time.
I think until we get a building inspector in here that can inspect it and tell us what we actually need.
Yeah.
Or,
Bring
and
it up
then
to
the
code.
board decides what to do,
Right,
because I'm not a builder.
me either. But I do know that pipes have to run somewhere.
So, real quick, you said that, so we're getting our city inspector, Sue Leahy, and then the state inspector, or what did you say?
The state should have approved all of the work done up there, so we have to find the paperwork for that. So, that's my understanding, is that for fire districts and firehouses, the state has final approval.
Got it.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it either. I don't know much. So that's where we're at with that. Am I supposed to talk about the strategic plan?
Yeah, you can talk
Okay.
about that one.
I talked to Robert Whitaker late last week, and he said that they're going to begin working on processes for such as fire inspection information. They're doing a good job with the fire inspections, but we need to develop a process where it's not all paper, and then Heather has to enter it all in to upload for the state. So I think we're gonna work with those pads that we're using.
iPads.
The iPads have to be, I don't know if they're reprogrammed or
I'm getting an answer from Kevin Clone. He's got a guy that used to do ESO, which is what we've got. And so he was gonna talk to him and see if we have to wipe them clean and where to
Oh,
go
that's
from there.
right, you didn't
and
have
stuff.
them, they're not part of the ESO system. They're
Right.
programmed with a different software.
Right, so he's gonna, and I'm meeting with him tomorrow night, so he's gonna have some of that information for me, so we can get going on that. And then I think his guy is gonna try and help me understand how to put everything into ESO, so I get it in there right.
So if we can get the guys doing it too, then that cuts down on her time and it's a more efficient process.
Yeah, why do it twice?
Right, right. But people do like having that piece of paper. The businesses like having
They'll
that
get-
piece of paper.
According to my webinar that I was at this today, they can, we can either print out the form and send it to them if they want, or we can hit email and we can stand there, type in their email, it'll go to their email, we can stand there and go, did you get the email? And they can open it up and
And
go,
they
yes,
can-
I
yeah.
did. So it's
Perfect.
done and over. I mean, it's supposed to be
Until
very
they have a
fast.
copy
So,
and
mhm.
everything.
Perfect, perfect.
So, yeah.
Okie dokie.
Our update on our purchasing priorities, we do have a list. Between the three chiefs, we sat down and we got a list. We're just trying to work out what's the priority, what's the biggest priority we need first. So we are working on that, it's not finalized yet, so.
We're gonna start working on the budget. We're gonna have to start working on the budget.
So and I don't think anything that, I'd have to look at the list again, I don't think there's anything like woo-hoo humongous. So,
Right.
I mean, like astronomically.
Okay.
When's the down payment of the fire truck? That next year or
We better check with, it might be next year, because we're supposed to take possession at the end of '25. Good point.
I mean, if you're doing budget, it'd be nice to have it.
Right.
Yeah. And we'll have to decide how we wanna do that. I mean, if we wanna have each municipality contribute toward the down payment, or however you wanna do it.
No, you're right.
I know the city of Ripon has some funds set aside too, already, so they're not talking about bonding right now.
We talked briefly, I think, at our last meeting about our apprenticeship program we were gonna start. We do have a gentleman from Princeton. He's gonna start on August 7th. And Donovan, you wanna touch on that a little bit maybe, or do you have any?
He already has firefighter A and B done. He's 17 years old, he'll be 18 on September 3rd. So we have like a month where he really can't do a whole lot, he'll have to stay with the driver or whatever, but then after that, we can work him in. He is starting to take firefighter C, and then he'll be certified after that. So by December, he'll be a certified firefighter.
Is he gonna be a daytime guy, or?
Yeah, he'll be here during the day.
Okay.
Our plan right now is that he'll come in and work 7 to 11, and then he goes back to high school for his high school classes in the afternoon.
Okay.
So, and he's taking basic anatomy and medical something or other, because he wants to go in to be an EMT and a paramedic. So his path is to become a full-time firefighter. So we're working with him on that, and he's.
And there is so many hours he can work too.
Right, he can,
Can't
we
over-
have to guarantee him 450 hours in a year, and putting him on 3 days a week, starting in September. August, we're gonna put him on 2 days a week, and then in September, we'll put him on 3 days a week, and then he'll get his 450 hours. So,
What happens if there's a call at like 10:45? Does he go on the call?
he can go in the call, and then we'll just, if I'm here, then I'll just run and pick him up. He doesn't have to be back to school until 12:15, so we've got like an hour leeway we can work with. But yeah, if they go on a call and I'm not here and I don't need to be on the call with them, I'll just take one of the buggies and go get them and bring them back to the station and stuff. But we'll work that all out.
That's kind of like our cadet program is
Yeah.
too. They can't work past a certain point, and then, they gotta leave, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
This sounds like, when I used to be a school counselor, you can just work with, a teacher and they get credit, or it sounds like this is through the youth apprenticeship program, which is awesome. And then there's special liability, the youth, because even though they're under 18, that you get protected by. And so I would just say that if we're looking for more students, make sure that a reminder back to the high schools in the area that we accept them.
This is through CISA, so.
Yeah, this is just CISA 6.
Exactly, but the schools work through that.
Yeah.
So the
Right.
CISA gets funnel the money, but typically it's the school counselors or the teachers that are telling them about it. So if you're open to more, I would just, it might be helpful to have a little write-up or something that you send to the school counselors.
Sherry Leverance, the school counselor here in Ripon, they have a fall job fair. And so she's going to let me know when that is, so we'll go
That's
to that and
fantastic.
see.
Student services
Yep.
she is,
Yep.
not a school counselor, but she
Yep.
works with the school
Yep.
counselors. That's
Yes.
great.
Cool. Old business. You relieved, John?
For now.
Okay, I only have that one collection firm, so I'm gonna follow up and try to get a couple more quotes for you on that. I don't think we should just take one person's suggestion. And then I don't have the charges for the accounting transition. CLA was supposed to have set up a meeting last week with me, but that didn't happen, so I will email Amber about that tomorrow to see where we're at with that. So we're on to new business. We had a discussion about Engine 11 last month, but Doug's the one who asked for it to be on the agenda, so I brought it back so that you all can explain to him what I think you decided to wait to get a quote from.
Hold on, did we talk about the solar panel?
Oh, no, we didn't, sorry. Thank you, Doug.
Trying
You
to
have
keep
that?
up.
I do.
Okay. Thank you, Doug.
So,
I'm trying to break our record.
so I was trying to find out what the IFC 2015 thing was and everything, and so I reached out to Robert Whitaker, and when I was looking through the inspection SOP, it had the IFC as a guideline for us to use in inspections. So I asked him, does that kind of fall into what we're trying to do here? And his suggestion was to kind of like postpone this, because he said each municipality would have to adopt the IFC thing into their like ordinances and their bylaws, and it's like a whole big deal. How did he put that? Yeah, so he thinks that we should wait, and then he's gonna work with us and try and figure out what the best way to go about it is, if the municipalities want to do that or not. He said, for right now, we've already told the contractor, but he said tell the contractor that we want to use that as a guideline for them to use, but it's not something we've adopted. So he's kind of, let's see. He says, I believe the city and towns will need to adopt it by ordinance, so any action tonight would need to be recommended to the cities and town adopt IFC as their fire code. That process gets a little complicated, so it probably is best to hold off on action tonight, and Kevin and I can assist in the process. The state does not allow adoption of a code more stringent than NFPA 1 2015 edition, so we need to align the correct version of the IFC code with the NFPA code. So,
We got a little work to do.
so I think you need to just kind of.
Gary?
So, what, I wasn't aware of this solar thing, so what are we trying to do? Is that for the public if they want to put solar on their buildings, or
It's
is that
for
for
how
here,
you
or what?
respond to fires.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it helps
That's what
them,
last-
yeah.
Yeah.
Someone brought it forward, right? That's why we're
Right,
talking about it.
somebody wanted to put solar panels on a building in the city, and so they came and they asked us what our rules were. And we didn't have any. And so we kind of were like, we would prefer this, or we would, and so we kind of thought, well, do we need to have an SOP or a policy on that we should follow, so that everybody follows the same thing? So then that's where this all came into effect, but now it's getting bigger.
That's the
So,
problem. Just tell them we don't have a policy. Do what you
so,
want.
so,
Buildings should do, solar buildings should be on roofs and not on farms anyway.
so,
There.
so, I think we need to meet with Robert and Kevin and see what Kevin Pierce and see what.
So your recommendation is to just postpone?
Yeah, wait until we can talk with Robert and Kevin and see,
Okay.
because we may not be able to do anything if we can't go.
Well, then all 3 municipalities would have to approve
Right.
it too.
So I think that's, and maybe we just.
But right now, if you wanted to put one on, you could, because we don't have any rules against it. So it's really not stopping anybody now
No.
from doing it.
Right,
Oh, no.
right,
So
right.
we're not stretching anybody
Right,
out.
but I
No.
think part of the question wasn't it where they place them or how they put them on for,
Yeah.
in case there's a fire and the fire district has to respond for the.
To get on the roof or
to get-
whatever.
Yeah, to get
And
on.
we, like we said, we'll just go on the other side of the roof.
Right.
We can, there was always a
Way to go.
work around it.
Accommodate, yeah.
We've come up against other
There's all
things on
kinds of
roofs.
difficult things you run into.
Yep, exactly. So I think we just see what they're, and maybe we just, if anybody else calls, we recommend you follow this guideline as
Or
close as possible. You
NFPA
can-
1.
Yep, yeah,
whatever.
and then go from there.
Okay.
But, so yeah, I'll work with Robert and Kevin on that and see what they suggest.
You guys all okay with just postponing? We don't have to take a vote on that.
No, everything's been postponed so far.
So, but does that mean we'd want to make sure we forward whatever language is suggested to, for example, our city inspector? Because would that
No.
question come to them
Well,
typically?
it would have to be forwarded to each of the municipalities. And then it would have to be on a meeting, and it would have to be a public meeting, and then everybody would have to adopt it.
But I mean, outside of officially adopting it, of that process, if it's just saying, here are the general guidelines, don't we want to make sure that our people, like I could imagine if someone is calling, hey, can I put this on my building? That question might get funneled through the city inspector.
They contacted the city inspector and us, and we
Yeah.
both said we didn't have a policy.
So I guess my point is, the information that you got, which was great, do we want to make sure that the city inspector also has that as of right now, just to say, here's what you can tell them?
We could-
They're
I
saying
think-
the same.
Yeah.
So
She's your inspector too, right?
Yeah.
And do you
She's
have a
not.
building inspector for town of
Well,
Nebraska?
yes, consulting firm does our
Oh,
inspections.
okay, all right.
Or jobs it out.
So that you might want to give it to Tom
Tom,
to
okay.
pass along to their inspection firm.
Okay.
And still all we can do is recommend they do
Yeah.
that, so.
I know our planning commission's been dealing with solar-related issues because, people are being approached, so this is part of that, it sounds like.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you. Thanks, Doug, again. So now, again, I put engine 11 on because,
That was C, under old business. I feel like
Right.
we jumped from apprentice to C. Did we do A and B?
I talked about the collection firm, that I don't have enough information, and I'd like to get another quote or two. And
Got it.
then
Got
the
it.
possible charges for transition would be, CLA has not set up the meeting, I need them to set up.
Got it, thanks.
Okay, all right. Fire engine 11, so help me remember, I think we decided that we wanted to have Reynolds do a diagnostic on it and tell us what needs to be done to fix it, right? And do we do that?
I have an email here from Rennerts, from Manny. Manny works over at Rennerts. He says, Heather, we did scope it, because we did talk about having it scoped, spending the $300 to have it scoped. He says here, the pump would have to be split and completely overhauled now. Plus,
What does that mean? Like for water?
well, I can elaborate on this here a little bit. The reason we'd have to split the pump originally is to fix that pressure control valve that hasn't been repaired for numerous years now. And seeing as how we didn't fix that pressure control valve, he's got to pull the pump all apart to get at it. And he said since the pump is apart, you'd replace all of the seals, the valves, you know, the diaphragms in there, anything that would have to be, would be the time to do it. You know, if you're just trying to rip the pump apart, correct. You're not just gonna rip the pump apart, fix that little issue, when just other stuff could happen eventually. So if we would have fixed it maybe a couple, 3 years ago, we wouldn't have this problem we have now. But he said if you were looking to fix it, he said it's gonna be 22 to 25,000. To take that pump out, re-overhaul
Say
it,
that again?
22 to $25,000. So basically what they're doing is they're gonna take that whole pump out of that machine, put it on their workbench, which is probably as big as this table, the pump is, put all the new internals in it, and fix that pressure control valve that was not working originally, and then put it all back in and hook up all the plumbing and all the valves and all the gauges, everything's all gonna have to get all hooked back in.
Is that the only thing that's wrong with it?
Yeah, I do believe so.
Okay.
It passed it to DOT, I think. Yeah, it passed its DOT.
And it will pump, they just don't know if it'll draw.
It will not, yeah, it'll
Right
pump.
now.
It'll
Yeah,
pump right now, it just won't
it
draft
won't draft right now.
because of that pressure control
Because the
switch
pressure
is
control
leaking.
switch. Yep.
Which means if they put the tank in front, they can't suck it out of the tank.
Yeah, which is what failed at the Han fire.
Well, we didn't use it at the Han fire.
Oh, you
We used it at the Han fire, but we had it hooked up to the hydrant.
Oh,
We didn't even
okay.
try and draft with it. We just hooked it up
Okay.
to the hydrant and pushed water that way.
What if you didn't have it for that?
You put a tank in
If
the
you didn't have it
roof,
for the on fire, if we sell it?
drop
Gravity feed it.
We
What's
probably,
that?
if we didn't have 11 for the Han fire, what would we have done? We would have pulled in a tender, or we would have, well, we had the 2 tenders going, we would have pulled in 14.
But you have
Yeah.
mutual aid too.
We had 14 still sitting in the
In here.
station,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have backup.
Now you actually have a thing that we could put up engine 11 up for sale, right? And you have a sheet of paper that's 2 weeks old, and say, do a scope, this is what needs to be fixed, everything else works.
Right, or,
Potentially.
yeah, you could do that if you wanted to, or you hold on to it right now. It's still working to a point,
until we get to
till the new one's, 2025. Let's say we run engine 11 for another 6 months to a year, then look at maybe, we're getting closer to our due date for a new one, then maybe we could pedal it then.
It still works, it just doesn't do everything it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
No,
a
I
car,
lean on-
your
I lean on you
conditioning
guys.
doesn't work,
Yeah.
your
I
own
mean,
windows
it
out.
really impacts you directly and just,
Yeah, I would hold on to it right now yet.
No.
Actually, we need to hold on to it right now until we get,
Let's go down to the 2 more sections so
So-
you understand.
I would hold on to it for right now, in a nutshell. I would hold on to it until we get closer to the due date on the other one. Then I would think we'd get rid of it.
Okay, so are we voting on anything tonight with that?
Yeah, well, if you want, do you all want to spend the $20,000 to $25,000? That would be what we would vote on,
That's about all it's worth.
because that would be spending money. Otherwise, if they're recommending to keep it in service,
Then it'll just be status quo.
yeah, it would be status quo. I don't know, will the value depreciate in another year?
I doubt it. It's, I think, depreciated out already.
Okay,
If
so
it's not, we should keep it long.
do we need to do anything then?
What is the consensus of you all, just status quo?
Well, help me understand again, is there any danger? I mean, what is the recommendation of you guys? It's hard for me to make a decision on this. What do you recommend that?
There is really no danger. We know what the truck is capable of doing and what it can do. We all know that it cannot hold draft because it's got that issue. So any structure fire in the city, that engine can hook up to a hydrant and work sufficiently.
So it'd be more in the country, and then what we're saying is we're relying on mutual aid?
Well,
Right
Or-
now,
Yeah.
right now we are.
right now,
Right now, yeah, we still rely on mutual aid for any
I mean,
pump, really.
yeah, pretty much, I mean, if we have a fire out in the country that is big enough to need a vehicle to draft, a rig to draft, we're gonna be calling mutual aid anyway. It's the way it is.
And our tenders are set up too with pumps on them, and they'll haul 3,000 gallons of water on them. And we can plumb a hose from the tender directly to engine 11 and continue to feed it with water.
So it's not useless?
No, No,
Definitely not
it's-
useless.
No, it's not useless.
No. We're not gonna plant flowers in it out in the front.
Not yet,
We'd
anyway.
like to, but, no. It's still a viable machine, so my suggestion is continue to run it until we know the future of the new one.
And we don't need a motion for that, only if we're gonna spend the money.
Yeah, but let's just keep it the way it is, I think. That's my feeling. If you can still hook a hydrant up to it and put water in that way and it can still pump otherwise, I think that's fine. And when it's not, then we'll have to do a tender with it or something, I guess.
Yep.
Barry, any thoughts?
I would say leave it the way it is.
Fine with that?
Yep, leave it the way it is.
All right, okay, let's move on. Your squad 15.
Squad 15, which is our old ambulance, which we've talked about this in past meetings.
It's the Red Cross truck.
Yes, it's the one sitting down in the town garage in the back row. We are the owner of that now. We did find the title. The title has been transferred to the fire district now. We are not sure whether it has insurance on it, but we are the owner of it now, so.
I have not put insurance on it yet.
So there's no
It's sitting-
insurance on it.
It's sitting out in your town garage parking lot, so I have not put insurance on it yet.
That machine or that truck, 15 or squad 15, we pulled it out of here when we had the chicken barbecue back in March, first week in March. And we couldn't use it for starters because there was no license or insurance on it. So it's just been sitting since March.
What do
And
you use it for?
kind of a
It was-
rehab unit,
Yeah.
special operations, rehab
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty much just rehab, and then at the end of the fire, we load all the dirty hose in it and haul it back.
So you use it
Well,
when it's insured?
yeah, but we can also use 9 to do the same thing, or we can throw the hose on the
Tailboard.
walkway of the,
Tailboard of 9 and
of 16, and I mean, we bring the hose back different ways.
we have
I
a
mean,
trailer that we can pull behind 9 as well.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
all loading all that hose on, which we have done before at barn fires.
Yep.
Originally, it was supposed to be, it's got air conditioning in it, if I'm not mistaken.
It does, whether it works or not, I'm
And
not
then,
sure.
yeah, I'm not sure it works either now, but then they kept water in there. You could actually, the firefighter just got too exhausted and
Oh,
could lay
okay.
down. That's what they were referring to
Oh,
as
okay.
rehab.
Yeah,
And so, you got 3-4 crew came out of a house and they're all hot. And they could go and sit in there and that's
But
originally.
technically, no, they gotta go through the ambulance
yeah, we gotta go
first
to the
and
ambulance first before.
have them clear them before they can
And
come out of there.
then there's usually
Then they
air
can go sit in
conditioned
there
and stuff like that.
if
too,
they have
so.
to, yeah.
Okay, so
The maintenance on it,
what?
on 15,
Yeah.
we've had it over to renters numerous times for electrical issues. They won't even work on it
They
anymore.
don't wanna see it anymore.
So.
They don't want to see it anymore?
No.
But
don't
like,
see it
there's,
anymore.
yeah, there's pretty much nothing more they,
And they're in business to fix things and they don't want to see it anymore.
Oh dear.
Because electrical is atrocious in it.
well, this is the one where the batteries always go dead, even though
Yeah.
it's got a master switch.
So it's got to draw somewhere.
I'm just trying to help you out there.
So do we just want to keep the status quo on that one? What do you want to do?
Or can we sell it?
Bingo.
Now that we have a title.
Yeah.
Now that we have a title and stuff, I preferably I would pedal it. I would put it on Wisconsin surplus and just let her go.
Well, we would need a motion to do that, and we would have to vote on it. So is there a motion to sell Squad 15?
I'll make the motion to sell it. It's all squad 15.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Tom. Is there any further discussion?
Are we selling it on Wisconsin surplus? You want that in your motion?
Sure, that's okay.
Okay, on Wisconsin surplus.
Is that I don't know what other option you'd have.
It's the best option.
That's fine.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you. Now,
Engine 14, unfortunately, is broke down as well. And that's not even in our station right now, so we can't even use it. We used it, we were going over to the Mavis training over in Alto a couple weeks ago for our training night. The transmission quit working between Ripon and Brandon. So I had them bring another engine down, pick up the crew, and they continued down to Alto with us to do the training. I had a guy stay with the engine, we called the wrecker. I talked to Rennerts right away too to see what their thoughts were on this. I'm good friends with Manny. He said the best thing to do would be is to haul it over to Quality Truck in Fond du Lac. He said, because if I have you haul it here to my shop in Marquezan, and I can't do the diagnostics on it, you're gonna have another tow bill again. So he said, you could be towing this thing around to all these different areas trying to get it fixed and racking up a big bill. So he said, the best thing to do is take it to Quality Truck in Fond du Lac, which we did. We called Mueller's Towing Service out of Rosendale. They came, got it, took it to Fond du Lac. There was some controversy at Quality Truck with Rennerts. I handled that. I called over there. Rennerts went back over there to Quality Truck because Quality Truck doesn't have the software anymore and the data links because it's too old to hook into the computer system. So Manny from Rennerts has that stuff because they work on that stuff at their shop anyway. So it was allowed that Manny could go over and run a diagnostics on engine 14. Comes back, it's the shifter control module is bad. It's an automatic and it's a push button on the dash. So there's two computers. There's one up here on the dash and there's one down on the transmission that does all the shifting and controls of it. So the one down here on the transmission is bad. The control panel is good. And we thought we could maybe take the one out of 11 just to do some testing and put it in 14, but it's specific to the truck. So you can't take 14s out of and put it in 11, 11 and 14. It doesn't work that way. So the option was to send that control module out to Allison Transmissions. They did confirm today that that is bad. The control panel, the keypad and the dash is good. That's sending a signal down to that, but that's not sending a signal to the transmission. So that control module is $5,800. And that would be already programmed to the truck as well. Allison would program it, they flash it, it's called, to our specs of our truck. So I guess with that being said, I'm gonna have to look for a motion or some way or another to move forward with this.
It's $5,800 for the part and the
For the
labor?
part.
For the part and the labor to flash it and stuff. And it's not, that $1,500 does not include putting it back in. Yeah.
So what would be a, ballpark figure on the labor?
I know Manny's been there twice already. And he'd have to go back another time. I don't know what he gets per hour for service calls.
I don't know service calls. I can look on one of their bills to see what they get paid for labor. But I think it's like 140 an hour.
140 an hour? Yeah, probably.
About 140 an hour, I think.
So do you wanna, would not to exceed 10,000? Or, I don't know how many hours it takes to.
I don't either.
I don't think they were over there that long when they had it
No.
out. Because they came here to check to see if ours off at 11 would work.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was over there whole.
Yeah, he was here pretty early in the morning. When you said he was coming over, I was expecting him about noon, and he was here about 10 o'clock.
Or we could do 9,500, that's what we have left in contingency.
Emotions.
Yeah, I need a motion.
I like that there's an amount that we have accountable for. It seems to make sense. Otherwise, you probably should include where that extra 500 would come from if it is spent.
Well, if it goes over, we'll have to come back and just have another discussion, but that gets us up to pay for the part
And the labor.
and hopefully most of the labor, if not all of it.
We've got engine 11 that's partial. We got 14 with a custom transmission. We can't afford another new fire truck. It's just gonna cost what it's gonna cost.
I think we just
I
got
mean, I
to,
think just fix it. And if it runs, It doesn't matter if it runs over a contingency.
Right.
We're still gonna have to do something.
Right.
We gotta fix it, so let's use the $9,500 in contingency, and then we'll worry about,
And if it's more, we'll
We'll
just,
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even put it in motion, I'd
We'll
just,
figure out, yeah.
I make a motion to fix engine 14.
do we have to vote to move it out of contingency, though?
we'll
We
say,
will,
we'll
if
say
we-
it's contingency,
Okay,
so Barb knows.
That's what it's-
okay, who wants to make the motion, Gary?
I make a motion that we fix engine 14.
Don't we want to say to come with
I'm
funds
gonna
coming out
take
of
funds from
contingency?
contingency, yeah. Otherwise, she's been pulling funds from wherever she wants,
Well, I have to tell her that.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've asked her to stop doing that.
It's probably easier to figure out what went on.
Okay, who's gonna make the
Gary made the
second?
motion, and,
Okay.
okay, is there any more discussion?
And just so it's on the record, this is a critical engine. I mean, it's needed for operations, correct?
Definitely right now,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Because with engine 11 kind of on fritz,
Yeah.
engine 14's gone, we have engine 16 right now. Is our main.
I was thinking about moving engine 14 into being our first out engine, and then this happened, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it needs, it needs.
What year is this,
prioritization.
what year is that engine?
Did I look up 14?
92?
94.
94.
11 is a 91, 14 is a 94.
I think it would be helpful to have a chart of all engines, the years, you know.
We can get that for you.
Was it,
For him.
did Cody make that?
I think he was, yes.
I guess-
See, he got
I
something
don't know if
together.
it has the- I don't know if it has the years,
I don't think it had the years.
but it was helpful for me to see it.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor of using contingency to pay to repair engine 14, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay. And the next two items we discussed under old business. I think that IFC
Yeah.
thing is the solar panels and the accountings. I thought I'd have more information for you, but I've been kind of busy the last couple of weeks, so. We did have an agenda item for seeking bids for an upstairs door for the turnout room.
I do have two bids at this time. One was from Ripon Area Builders, and then I had got another one from North Central Construction. They're out of Fond du Lac. Ripon Area Builders was a total of $1,000. That included, we'll have to supply the lock set, but everything else comes with it. And it's one new flush 20-minute fire-rated oak door on existing door jamb upstairs. That was for Ripon Area Builders of $1,000. And then North Central Construction bid came in for 20-minute rated solid door. And we have to install the hardware ourselves, and that one was $1,127. Two separate bids here.
I guess I just had a question before, both of it sound fine, but the state inspector, making sure that everything is actually done up to what the state inspector actually expects. Should we get that before we put any more money into
I
this?
think so.
Just to make sure.
I think that's
I
a
mean,
good
it's
idea.
Like 99% chance it's all fine, but like that 1% chance it's just $1,000 and then we have to change it after.
Yeah, what do you all think?
What's wrong with the door?
Well,
There isn't one, is there?
there isn't one up there, and there's
I don't think there
thousands
is
and
one.
thousands of dollars of Class A uniforms
And turnout gear
and turnout
and
gear.
just uniforms
So
that,
we want to secure that room.
right, because
Right.
right now, if somebody needs something, they just go up and rummage through it and just takes it, and then we go up, to like, say we get a new person that comes in, we're like, oh, let's go get you a t-shirt, and we go up there and like, oh, there's no t-shirts, because they just disappeared. So we kind of want to keep a control on
So
that,
this
keep an
is a
inventory on that.
security issue.
Yeah.
I just get Ripon Area Builders to put the door on.
I think at this point, I understand what
We've got a fire door
Jonathan's
out
saying.
there anyway.
I think we should just put the door on and then worry about that later. If that is going to be an issue with the inspection, then We'll have to do something different, but
Yeah.
it's something that may not be an issue.
And it sounds like it's a
It's a fire door already, yeah. It's rated, it's a rated fire door, yes. So I don't think that would be the issue more than it, no.
And then you would have, your stuff would be secure so people aren't walking off, but.
Correct.
Well, technically, it's not secure until you also, someone does the work to do the locks. Do you
Right.
have someone? you
Cooper
can
can
do it?
Cooper and I can do
Cooper
it.
and him can do it, we just gotta buy a lock.
Cooper's good at that stuff.
Yeah.
He's gonna change the
And the
lock.
Class A uniform, they're like for funerals and high-class stuff, even our promotional ceremonies. And it's up there. I'll just use me as an example. I lose something, like I have my Class A at home, I lose my hat, I go up there and like Donovan said, rummage through somebody else's stuff to get a hat. When they come to get theirs to go to a funeral, it's missing,
gone.
it's gone.
Yep.
Why didn't you return your hat?
I don't know where I lost it.
But yeah, I mean,
So-
it's,
I think for the district-wise and the money that we spent on those uniforms, I think it would be good to put that door on. And we have a guy up there that's taking care of that. Actually, he's our fire inspector guy that's heading up our fire inspection. He wants that door up there as well, so he can keep his,
yep, he
Quartermaster
spent
type.
hours up there
Yes.
cleaning that and getting it organized and knowing where everything is, and he's got it looking really, really good.
he takes pride in it,
Okay,
so.
so your recommendation is to go ahead with the Ripon area builders.
That was one of you guys down there, I think.
I think Doug
That was
said-
Doug.
No, was it me? Yeah, I'll make that motion to accept that.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Is there any further discussion?
I mean, I guess obviously, it's not my place to tell you what to do, so I won't say it like that, but it sounds like it's also a good process to have kind of an inventory.
Yeah, he's working on getting the total inventory of what's up there. And then I said, him and I have talked about numbering, maybe like the bunker gear and stuff, so that we can keep track, okay, this firefighter got bunker gear number, whatever, shirt, pants number this, jacket number this, so we can keep track of, especially the year that we got them, and, because we can only have them for so many years, and then they're supposed to be replaced, so. So we're working on the whole, what we're supposed to be doing, so.
And do you need in the motion with also that, because we can't, the motion is only as good as we also need money for the locks too. I don't know how much we need to
They're not
authorize for
much.
that, but I mean,
Yeah.
we need to say,
$30.
the motion is to approve the door as well as installation of the locks, just to be on above board
If you
and
want. I mean,
transparent.
would you accept an amendment to
Sure.
your motion? And
I'll second.
Okay,
I accept the friendly.
all right. And that bid was for $1,000 even plus the cost of the lock. Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, and then hot water tank.
Okay, so the hot water heater, we all know out there in the apparatus bay has been on the kaputs for a couple months now. We do have two bids here. One is from Brewer Heating, one is from Atomic Plumbing. They were both requested to bid the same hot water heaters. So from what I gather here, to replace what is out there right now, the existing one with the new one, Atomic Plumbing comes in at $11,136.15. Brewers came in at $9,412. So with further discussion between these two people, it was said that hot water heater out there right now is overkill. It's just overkill. They don't know why it was put in there. It just,
Well,
it's twice what we needed.
Their thought was, because when I talked to one of them, their thought was that we do, like when we do laundry out there, we like spend hours and hours in that washing machine goes constantly for like 3, 4, 5 hours. And I'm like, no, somebody may throw their gear in, it washes, and maybe an hour later, somebody may throw their gear in. And then that's when they were like, well, then yeah, that's overkill, because the hot water heater we have out there is for like continuous, like, it would be like a laundromat type, where they somebody's in there washing clothes constantly.
Because the recovery rate on that one out there is
It's
huge.
really fast, yes.
Fast, it's a lot of
That's
BTUs.
why it's so
Right,
expensive.
right.
So with that being said, we decided to have them quote what they thought, and again here, these are both about the same water heater, the way it looks to me here. So they're gonna go with a 75 gallon commercial grade hot water heater. Brewer was at $6,630. And Atomic Plumbing came in at $4,267.30.
It's funny how they switch, sort of, the cost, you know.
Both of these lower cost hot water heaters will do the same job of what's out there right now. And this is
Installed?
Installed, including any plumbing, pipework, yes.
Because they're gas, right?
Yep. And it said reconnect hot and cold water lines to the new water heater, reconnect 100-volt wiring, reconnect PVC pipe, and all labor and installation for Brewer, and it's all labor and materials here, so.
Again, is it not funny that it's almost 2,000 exactly, where one was cheaper than the other for the bigger one, and it's almost 2,000 exactly, one is cheaper than the other for the smaller?
Mhm.
That's strange.
Make a motion, we go with Atomic Plumbing.
You better be specific for which one.
For the 75 gallon bid at 4,000, you have to give me the, what's after that, 4,000?
$267.30.
Yep.
4,267 30 cents.
Take it out.
Which one? Oh, it's five expensive.
I'll second it.
So where are we taking Sean?
Heather, we're gonna take it out of operational supply and small equipment because there's 31,000, there's 20,000 left in there.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll get the hot water heaters
Oh,
coming.
they didn't vote yet.
Oh,
Oh, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, those opposed, same sign. Okey doke. Is there any board discussion or communication that we need, that anybody received? Okey doke. Agenda items for future meetings, I have to bring back collection firm quotes and the cost for migrating from the city's accounting system to our own. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
So it'd be in August?
Yeah, August 1st.
You can put on there exit interviews. I can give an update on that.
Oh, great, okay.
Optimistically, I'll have some done. And if I don't, I will bypass it. So.
I think I'll put budget on, because I'll have to sit down with Heather and Cody and you or whatever and work on the budget and see where we're at. And by then, they should have some ideas of their purchasing priorities. And in the meantime, I will email Leslie and I will find out when the down payment is due and what the exact amount would be. Thank you for reminding us of that.
Yeah, wasn't it due like at 15 or 20 months in? Something like that.
I
We
need to be
better
reminded.
find out so we're ready for it.
Yeah, yeah. And anything else anybody thinks about for the budget? Actually, when I was looking for this, at the end of 6 months, we're at 51% of our budget. So even with all those big expenses,
We're doing okay.
you're doing a good job. And the board is doing a good job. So, all right, our next regular meeting is August 1st.
I won't be able to be in person at it. Do you want me to zoom in?
It would be Google Meet.
Yeah, that's encrypted, so.
So, I will get what I need from somewhere else, and I'll let you, I'll get
Okay,
it all
sounds
set
good.
up.
I'll connect with you before the meeting. Thanks,
Okay.
David.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Gary. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jolene. And all those in favor?
Aye.
We beat our records, 8:14. Good job, everybody.